What if I told you that the difference between struggling financially and building wealth in 2025 comes down to just 5 key decisions? Decisions that 97% of Americans aren't making right now. The path to wealth in 2025 isn't what your parents taught you. It's not what conventional wisdom says. And it's definitely not what most financial gurus on YouTube are selling you. Before we dive in, fair warning, after watching this video, you might not sleep tonight. Not because you'll be scared, but because your mind will be racing with possibilities you never considered before. Look, we're living in the most economically volatile, yet opportunity-rich time in history. Inflation has reshaped what a dollar can buy. Remote work has completely transformed career possibilities. AI is eliminating jobs while creating entirely new industries. And traditional investment advice? It's becoming increasingly outdated by the day. Wait, who am I to tell you this? I've built multiple income streams that collectively generate over 6 figures annually. I'm debt-free, and I've helped thousands of viewers just like you transform their financial reality. But enough about me. This isn't about what worked yesterday. It's about what's working right now and what will work tomorrow. So let's get into the 5 wealth-building strategies that will define 2025. The first wealth strategy for 2025 isn't about finding a better job. It's about becoming irreplaceable through what I call future-proof skill stacking. Graphics showing skill combinations. Here's the harsh truth. Single skill careers are dying. The middle class is hollowing out. You're either going to be highly valuable or easily replaceable. There's no in-between anymore. But here's where it gets interesting. When you strategically combine 2 or 3 in-demand skills, you don't just add to your value, you multiply it exponentially. Let me give you a concrete example. A content writer might make $50,000 a year. They're commanding $120,000 plus as a data storyteller, a hybrid role that barely existed 2 years ago. The key is identifying skills with future growth potential. Right now, that means anything involving AI implementation, data interpretation, human-centric soft skills that AI can't replicate, and digital system creation. But here's what most people miss. Developing these skills is only half the equation. The other half is monetizing them effectively, which brings me to our second strategy. Remember how our parents were told to build equity in a home? Well, in 2025, the smartest players are building equity in themselves. Here's what I mean. Instead of just trading hours for dollars, you need to create systems that generate value even when you're not actively working. I'm not talking about some sci-fi concept, I'm talking about practical applications that are multiplying human productivity right now. For example, let's say you're a freelance designer. Without AI, you might complete 3 projects a week at $1,000 each. I use this exact approach to scale my content creation business, from making $3,000 a month to over $15,000 a month in just 11 weeks, and I'm working fewer hours than before. And no, the AI isn't going to become sentient and steal your job. It's just a really efficient assistant that never asks for vacation time. The key is creating systems where your knowledge becomes scalable through templates and processes. Your expertise gets leveraged across multiple channels, and your time investment decreases while your output increases. But this strategy comes with a warning label. It will completely fail without the third critical component of our money formula, which might surprise you. Forget everything you've heard about traditional investing. The 60-40 stock bond portfolio is dead. The save 15% of your income in a retirement account advice is dangerously outdated. Now, I know what some financial advisors would say about this. They'd call it too aggressive or not diversified enough, but they're playing by 1990s rules in a 2025 economy. Let me break down why this works so well for our age group specifically. First, we have time to recover from volatility, so we can afford more calculated risk. Second, we're navigating a world where inflation has fundamentally changed the value proposition of safe investments. And third, we understand that in a rapidly evolving economy, personal skill development often yields better returns than traditional investments. Let's put this in perspective. A $2,000 investment in an industry-specific course that increases your earning potential by $15,000 a year represents a 750% annual return. Find me a stock that does that consistently. Quick reality check. This doesn't mean gambling your savings on sketchy get-rich-quick schemes. It means being strategic about viewing yourself as an investment. But here's where most people make a critical mistake. They focus so much on new investment approaches that they completely miss the fourth strategy. which is actually where the real generational wealth gets built. While everyone's fighting for the same jobs and investments, the smartest moneymakers in 2025 are quietly building what I call micro businesses with arbitrage advantages. Here's the core idea. Instead of starting traditional businesses that require huge capital and teams, focus on micro businesses that exploit specific arbitrage opportunities, price differences, information gaps, or efficiency problems that you can solve. Building audiences in underserved niches where attention is underpriced, then monetizing that attention multiple ways. Using this exact approach, I built a micro business in the productivity space that generates $7,000 to $12,000 monthly, with less than 15 hours of maintenance work. And yes, I created that business while still working my day job, so don't tell me you don't have time. We both know you watched an entire season of something on Netflix last weekend. The beauty of micro businesses in 2025 is that they can be started with minimal capital, run with minimal time commitment, scaled gradually without major risk, and sold for significant multiples if desired. But there's a critical catch to making this work. You need to understand the fifth strategy, which ties everything else together and amplifies your results exponentially. If you're still trying to build wealth in isolation, you're playing a game you cannot win. In 2025, your network isn't just an advantage. It's perhaps your most valuable asset. But I'm not talking about collecting LinkedIn connections or Instagram followers. I'm talking about strategically cultivating relationships with three specific types of people. First, your insight circle. 3 to 5 people who are 5 to 10 years ahead of you on a similar path. These people will help you see around corners and avoid costly mistakes. Second, your collaboration cohort. 5 to 7 peers at roughly your level who are committed to mutual growth. These relationships create opportunities through combined resources and skills. Third, your cultivation group. 3 to 5 people a few steps behind you whom you actively help. This cements your expertise and often creates unexpected opportunities. My biggest business breakthrough came not from a course or a strategy, but from a relationship with someone in my insight circle who introduced me to a client that changed everything. That single connection was worth over $200,000 in revenue. And no, joining networking events and awkwardly handing out business cards while balancing a lukewarm coffee doesn't count as strategic network building. That's just socially acceptable torture. The wealth builders of 2025 understand that certain relationships can provide shortcuts that save years of trial and error, open doors that remain permanently closed to others, create opportunities for collaborative ventures, and offer crucial emotional support during inevitable setbacks. But here's the most important part of this entire video, the part that determines whether you'll actually use these strategies or just file them away as interesting ideas. Now, I've packed a lot into this video, and you might be wondering about the specific details of implementing each strategy. That's exactly why I created a follow-up video called The First 30 Days, Implementing the Money Formula, Step by Step. You'll see it pop up on your screen in just a moment. In that guide, I break down the exact daily actions you need to take in those crucial first 30 days to set everything in motion. Look, it's not an exaggeration to say that the financial decisions you make in the next 6 to 12 months will likely determine your financial position for the next decade. The gap between those who adapt to these new wealth-building strategies and those who cling to outdated approaches is widening every day. Which side of that gap do you want to be on? Click the video on your screen now to get the step-by-step implementation plan. And if you found value in this overview, smash that like button and subscribe to join our community of new economy wealth builders. I'll see you in the next video with your detailed action plan.